Hi there and welcome to the Die House Drumworks. Looking at 16th notes here in terms of reading and also sticking. By the time we get to this level, I've been basing these mainly around the Rockschool, the new 2012 syllabus. And once we get to sort of grade 4, grade 5, you're kind of thinking GCSE sort of standard, I guess. They've moved on to, certainly for the last couple of syllabus packs, moved on to more drum kit related sight reading tests. So rather than reading just rhythm, which you get in the first 4 grades, including the debut grade, which is sort of mainly just snare drum rhythm. Now, in the old package, we're going back to the RS2K syllabus, I think it is, so going back 2 sets of exam books. There was sight reading in grade 4 and grade 5 just on the snare drum, so that the level of reading and syncopation and complexity of the reading was a little bit higher. And I think it's worth working when you're reading up to that level, certainly, because you're going to come across more complex rhythm when you're playing fills and patterns. So I think it was definitely worth spending a little bit of time sort of looking at those possibilities. So moving on from the last sight reading tutorial that we've done. So what I've done is I've laid out 2 bars of 16th notes. This is reading within 16ths, but kind of a step on from this idea of the mixed note groupings that I was talking about before. We're going to use 16th notes and 8th notes joined together within the same unit of notes, and also much more in the way of rests as well, perhaps included in those. So what I want you to think of is the groups of 16th, so 1 E-ander, 2 E-ander, 3 E-ander, 4 E-ander, with your right left sticking, so your single strokes, so we'll back those in down here. Obviously if you're a lefty, you reverse these. So right, left, all the way through. 1 E-ander, 2 E-ander, 3 E-ander, 4 E-ander. We did sort of 2 of the more common groups earlier on, which will get you through grade 2 and grade 3, which are using combinations where we've still got the quaver count, 1 and, but then another 16th note in amongst that. When we get a little bit more syncopated, we're going to tend to maybe take away things like the main count at the beginning of the group of 4, or maybe the and count as well. So it's going to give us a little bit more syncopation, a little bit more rhythm to play with. And I'm going to hopefully maybe even show you a few tricks using the metronome to help you develop playing these groups too. Okay, what would be a good one to start with? Well, I would say maybe taking away the first of the group. Okay, so we've got the group 1 E-ander here. We're going to take away 1. So notationally, we could play that, or we could write it with the 16th rest at the beginning. And really, there isn't a simpler way of writing that group. We've got the rest at the beginning, 3 16th notes. What we want to remember is that we're going to follow with subsequent sticking, so we're going to miss out. We would have played the right hand on 1, but we're going to miss it out. Now, this is my system for sticking. I think probably some other tutors and other books will use it as well. It's not that we have to use a particular sticking to get a certain result, but if you can keep your sticking consistent and learn it consistently, you'll find that over time, that's going to create more consistency for you. Okay, so here's our tempo. So if we're counting 1 E-ander, 2 E-ander, 3 E-ander, 4 E-ander, 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 E-ander. So what we can do is actually ghost the right hand above the drum. It's another benefit of using this sticking pattern system. Obviously you can hear the click hitting nice and comfortably because your click is going to be falling on the main count, so the first of each group of 4 all the way through the bar. And if we get the click in the right place, all those other beats should follow. So there we go, there's your first group. If we take away the second of the group of 4, we get that quaver, 2 semi-quavers that we did in the previous lesson. If we take away the third one, it's where things start getting a little bit tricky. So I'm going to move the bar line. I'm going to stick a bar line in there because we're finished with this group now. We're done. So we're going to start now with this one nice and fresh. So we're missing out the third 16th note. Okay, so 1 E, this is kind of 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4 E, So we're missing out and there. 3, 4. Okay? Slightly simpler way of notating this would be, as we did with the previous two mixed note groupings, would be to turn this beat into an eighth note, taking away the need to have the rest, which will give us this note group here. So notice, 16th note at the beginning will last till E, 8th note will last till A, putting this on the count of A, the last 16th note. So that counts in there, 1, E, and A. And that's our group. We mustn't get this confused, very, very common mistake that people make. With this group. The difference being, 4 16th notes, we're missing out the last one here, so this is the long note here, not this gap. That single beam is telling us that this is an 8th note, but remember it lasts an 8th note in that direction, not backwards. It can't last have a note length that works backwards. 1 E A, 1 E and. So your long note there. Ba 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 ba. So there's your long note in this one. There's your long note in that one. So watch out for that. So there's two common ones. What else might we have? Hopefully you'll start building up a sort of set of logic around this. So let's get rid of that one. We've done that group there. So if we take away the last of the group, well, we get again another one of the mixed note groupings that we talked about in the previous tutorial. 1 E and, so missing out the last one. Other common mixtures that we might get maybe would be taking the 2 16th notes away. So the first 2 16th notes of that go. So we could either put 2 16th note rests in here, or we could round that down, because we're coming in on and, 1 ander. We could put a quaver rest in there as well. So a little bottom on there. Okay. So that will give you a note group that would look like this. That's how I write it. In the books you'd sometimes see a little bobble on the end there as well. So rhythm wise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And. As you can hear once again, the click's really helping us there because it's playing plumb on that rest, where that rest will drop. Okay. So there's another one. So hopefully we'll start seeing the logic, because there's so many variations within 16th notes. I don't really want to go through the whole lot of them on here. They'll bore us all rigid. But as long as you start getting the idea of that, get your pen out, write some stuff out on a piece of manuscript paper. And get used to writing notation. You'll get much of a better sense of what's going on. Just a bit of basic maths. It's only ever going to be 4 16ths within a group. It's about as complex as it gets, certainly at this level, grade 4, grade 5. So yeah, here we go. Let's use maybe some 16th note rests. Get a little bit more complicated here. How about we take away the first and third within this group? There you go, first and third. So we're left with the counts of E and A. Very syncopated grouping indeed. Well, we know that from this first group, we can't really simplify the beginning. If we're taking a note away from the main count at the beginning, it's going to have a 16th note rest on it. But we can simplify what's going on here. And again, the way we can do that, 16th note and a 16th rest, we can turn this beat into a 16th. So what that will give us will be this group. 16th rest. Here's our 2 beats, our syncopated beats there. Little beam in the end, because it's turning this into a 16th note, and we'll leave this as an 8th note. So 1 E A. 2. It's a great way of getting this rhythm together. Notice the sticking pattern that I'm using, also just ghosting in the air where the right hands would be. E, 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 So we'll just frame that around the clip. 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4 E, 1. So there we go, there's another variation. This kind of carries on and on. If we take the 4 16th notes here, take the first one and the last one away, we get this group. So we can put a 16th in on E, an 8th note in on and, will take up the space that the count of A is occupying there. You've got dotted notes which are a feature in here as well. I'll do a separate reading system on dotted notes for you. But really, within 16th notes, you're going to have either 16th, 8th notes, or 16th note rests and 8th note rests. That should pretty much cover a lot of those mixed groupings that you might have. Again, like I say, you can have dotted notes or dotted rests maybe involved with these groupings, but we'll deal with those in the tutorial. So once again, take your time. If you're unsure, go back over the previous one. Get this right first time. I keep saying that in all of these tutorial videos. Get it right first time when you're dealing with reading. Again, if you're unsure, drop us a comment and I'll see if I can go over that and clarify a little bit more for you. So there you go, 16th, more broken and syncopated 16th groupings.